Well, Joe, in the light of day, probably a bit frustrated that conceded so late, but a point away at Walsall, who are going to be a team right up there this season. You take it?
I think we have to. I think in patches we played some good stuff, but unfortunately it was only in patches. I think we need to be better. I think we all know that we need to be better. And but as you said, 1-0 with 10 minutes to go, I think we had done enough and we looked comfortable at the back to see it out. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But yeah, I think coming here away from home against a team that will be right out there come the end of the season, I think you've got to take the point.
How tough was that first half and trying to get to grips with what they were trying to do and implement our style of football, I suppose, on the game?
Yeah, for sure. You can see what they're trying to do. They were a really high pressing team. They were very direct with their style of play, and with the win today, it caused a bit of havoc. It was quite hard to judge it in flight, but I think it took us a while to get used to it, and then we settled down. And for the last 10-15 minutes of the first half, there was only really one team in it. We managed to get the goal, take that into the second half, and we started the second half actually well. And then as the game went on, obviously it's cardinal sin, but you can't help it. You seem to drop off, and we invited pressure and we created our own problems, and unfortunately we couldn't hold on.
That first half as well, the word I suppose is brave, isn't it? You've got to be brave when people are trying to press, stick to what you know, play through. Will that come with time with some of these players? Because there are a lot of new players to the squad who maybe don't know how to do that style or are learning that style in time.
Yeah, we've got a lot of new young players coming through, and we play a certain way, and lads have got to get up to that, and I think they've done well to get up to that. But coming to new stadiums, big crowds, you have to be brave. The way we play, there's no shirking away from responsibility of trying to get on the ball, and I think we can be better at that. We will get better at that, and we learn lessons and take it into the next game.
Did you know you were going to be the penalty taker when it was given? Was that already disguised?
Yeah. I took one in pre-season, and I had a conversation with Sean wanted it, but I felt confident, and luckily put it away, and that one was for George Williams.
No Ketsbayer celebration though, or was there?
No, I don't know. I actually got booked, bizarrely enough. I spoke to the ref and I didn't go in the crowd. I think I was about a metre away, but he said because I made the steward's move that it's a booking, so it's a new one for me, but lesson learned.
You just mentioned George there, such a tough one for him last week. How's he doing and how's his spirits at the moment? Yeah,
I've been to see him a few times. Obviously it's hard. He's a young player. He's one of them players that likes to get in pockets and turn, and he's always likely to get some tackles. Unfortunately, it was a bad one the other day. But he's had his operation. He's on the road to recovery, and all the lads will stick by him. And he's a strong character, and I'm sure he'll come back in the right frame of mind.
Great to have Carl Winchester though slot straight back in. Such an experienced player, and was quality again out there, wasn't he?
Yeah, for me, he was one of our best players, if not our best player today. He made us tick. He played a little bit higher at the start and then dropped in a little bit later on. And when he gets on the ball, you just feel comfortable as a player. You know he's not really going to do anything silly. He's not really going to give it away. So he just kind of settles the team in a nice kind of way.
Faz going off with concussion injury, Liam Kitchen coming in. How did that reassess how you played at the back, and how do you think Liam did in his first game?
Yeah, I think the only issue was obviously Nath had to go slot into the right side of the three, but he's played enough games now that he was comfortable with that, and he was fine with that. Kitch came in, strong lad, aggressive lad, and I thought he did really well on his debut. As we'll debrief, and I'm sure he'll look back and see some good things and some things that you can work on.
What do you learn from a game like that, do you think?
I think managing the game for some of the new players coming in, especially coming to different stadiums, different grounds, playing against different styles of play. We know League 2 is going to be tough this season. There's no shying away from that. There's some big teams in this league, and hopefully we're going to be one of them. We're going to be right up there.
Focus now turns to Carabao Cup on Tuesday. A nice trip to Charlton, decent ground, decent history of the club. How do you approach that one? Is that a nice one to almost take your focus on? Yeah,
I think we'll refocus it as any game really. Obviously it's a cup game. There's a next round up for grabs, and we want that. Whether we make changes or we don't make changes, whether they make changes or not, it's the same mentality. We as a group of players, whether it's the starting 11 or the 20 in the squad, we know that if you're on that pitch, you need to give 100% and you need to give everything, and that's what we're going to do on Tuesday.
Well, you're off the mark for goals scored and a solid point, I'd say, away from home here. Well done.
Cheers.